talked about what that was going to do, or what it actually does and what it doesn't do and all that. And I thought, okay, well, this is menopause. Okay, this is it. This is as good as it's going to get.
If you don't mind me asking about the menopause piece, because it's one that I don't get to experience.
100%.
So because I think there's a lot of ideas around menopause, like almost like it's a death sentence, or it's an inevitable fate. And it's an experience that you need to go through. Like I was actually, believe it or not, I was actually a speaker at a menopause conference 2 years ago.
Nice.
I was one of two males there. There was a photographer and myself. And of course, I learned so much there that like my mind was blown. I was like, this is a way of thinking I didn't even realize. But and I was there just really to talk about the benefits of strength training and healthy aging. And it was really well received. Coming from, at that time, I was 35 years old, a 35-year-old guy. Yeah.
And so helpful.
Yeah. Again, sort of what shifted there? What was your experience where you said, hang on a sec, this isn't my fate? And what would you say to people who are, to ladies who are approaching or going through menopause?
The biggest thing I would tell them right out of the gate is, for the vast majority of people, menopause is not the reason why we gain weight as we age. That's not it. People want to say it's it. They say, oh, well, our metabolism slows down as we age, which it does to a degree, but not to the degree we give it credit for. I mean, we all assume it slows so far down. Even eat, a piece of lettuce without blowing up. I mean, it's not like that whatsoever. It really doesn't have that much effect on us most of the time. But I think that what I would tell everybody is this: we need to stop blaming menopause for that and start understanding that what has happened to us is over time, many years, not just like a year, 2 years, but 20, 30 years, we have become less active over time.
Yeah.
We have, to the point of not noticing it year by year by year. It's just not something we can truly notice, but it happens. And you pair that with, now we're not maybe maintaining our muscle while that's happening. It's
right.
now fat. Okay. So our metabolism is going to slow a little bit because of that piece, but we have that, and then pair that with, we're not really dialing in our nutrition either. And you have the perfect storm for what's happening,
Yeah.
And so hormones and all that stuff can make it harder, but it doesn't make it impossible. And that's what people need to understand. It's not a death sentence. It's not impossible. Hell, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Oh, you have great genes, or you are a gifted athlete. And okay, I'm a klutz. I am not a gifted athlete. And my genes and my family suck. I mean, I have obesity and heart disease everywhere. So no, I don't have a lot going for me in that way. I have to work my ass off every day.
And what I try to say to my clients, and I try to be careful about how I put it, remembering that I'm a 37-year-old guy who isn't experienced menopause, but I say, well, we can't change the fact that that's going to happen. What can we do to improve your experience of it? What factors can we control?
Yeah.
And I think there's quite a few hormonal, like we have more control over our hormonal environment than we realize.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about like stress management, nutrition, activity, all of these things influence it for better or worse, depending on how we approach it.
Sure. And, there's a lot of research out now linking strength training, and heavy strength training with helping some symptoms too. And I know just anecdotally with me, that was definitely the case. Definitely. Yep. Now I can't say that's going to be a blanket go-to, that's going to help every single person, because we all go through it differently. Like right. I had night sweats. I didn't really have the hot flash thing during the day, but I had night sweats that were horrific for a while. And so my sleep was affected. Then my mood is affected. I mean, it just goes on. But I'll tell you what, strength training helped take the edge off of all of it for me. So it's there, and you know this too. It's not strength training by picking up the pink dumbbell and doing 20 reps of some bicycle or whatever. Yep. It is picking up some heavy, significant weight, because the other thing that people need to know is that you can maintain muscle, and you can also build muscle as you get older, that you can do, that has been proven, and it will also improve bone density. Like if your bone density sucks, you can turn that around too. But all of that requires resistance and heavy resistance, not just walking. And I think that's a big mistake. And you probably see this. Most people in my age bracket, what they do, what are they doing? They're walking. That's it.
Yes.
Like I'm a walker. I've turned into someone who likes to walk, but that's not my main.
It's not your bread and butter.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. It's not going to do what you want it to do.
Yes. And I think you touched on something really important when you said you can turn it around, because what I think a lot of us perceive as aging is what I would call decay. It's like optional aging. Like there's a certain element of chronology that we can't escape from. We can't stop the aging process. But I think it's like a ball is rolling down the hill faster because we're not putting the brakes on by strength training, managing nutrition, managing stress, managing sleep.
100% on all of that. And you have to get a hold of that too. All of that. Sleep is underrated, I think, as a factor. And I know, there are people that don't want to go on hormone replacement therapy, and that's a whole different kind of crazy. Yeah. I'm not a doctor, so I don't want to go down medical roads. I know I was offered the opportunity. I just said, I don't feel like I have it as bad as other people do. So I opted not to, but I have a friend who just went on it, and that's changed her life. I mean, she wasn't sleeping at all, hardly.
Yeah.
And now she is. And so that piece, just the sleep piece, changes everything, So there are ways to manage it. And I also want to put out there that if you are diagnosed with a thyroid issue or a metabolism issue, whatever, most of those issues can be treated medically.
Yes.
And if you get those issues treated medically, now the playing field is normal,
Yes.
And so now we're back to square one, essentially. That's where you should be. Have a doctor monitor all that and whatever. And so people just seem to think that, I have low thyroid. I was told I have low thyroid. Okay. So I tell them, now what?
Yeah.
Now what? Are you going to sit there and just tell me you have a low thyroid and keep spinning your hamster wheel and just go round and round and round? You're going to let that be your excuse?
Right.
No. I mean, the science of fat loss doesn't change.
Yes.
It's not going to be easy,
I like to say that's why life isn't fair, and that's why it's called life and not fair.
It's so funny. I retired from the school system, and when I was there, I thought when I retired, I'm riding off into the sunset, and I'm going to sleep in and watch TV and and it's been anything but that.